Here we are with the review of the 2019 IS 350 F Sport all-wheel drive. It's a mouthful. We got triple beam headlights this time. I'll see you on the other side and let's get into it. The 2019 IS 350 F Sport. Oh, the wind just came up. I'm sorry guys, so if you get a lot of wind noise, I apologize. But we finally have triple beam headlights, so this is the biggest thing. This is why I wanted to review this car, just for the headlights. I know it's ridiculous, but the vehicle is pretty much unchanged. Now, let's go over what these triple beam headlights mean. Well, they've been around as an option, I think, since 2017, but for some reason, and guys, again, I'm sorry for the wind, for some reason, we haven't received any previous triple beam headlight options from 2017-18 years. I don't know if that's how Lexus just built it for our area, but I know people have commented on my channel and around the world that they're like, hey, we've had triple beams for years now. So yes, they've been an option, but we haven't seen any in our part of the world or neck of the woods. Darkened chrome around the mesh grille looks great in my opinion. Running headlights look great. I think for the refresh, they'll probably include them into the normal the normal headlight display there, just like you saw on my RC 2019 review. Mesh inserts here. It'd be cool if we had some fog lights, but not necessary. Here are those triple beams. Again, this is the star of the show. This big one here, that's for your high beams. I'm gonna pause and then get back to you. Okay, I just turned the high beams on. You can see the triple beams remain on, and then that big one right there in the middle turns on for your high beams. It looks awesome. And then we have these LED turn signals there, which look really, really sharp. Speaking of sharp, gosh, the IS just has always looked good. Yeah, it's a little long in the tooth at this point, but it's still a fantastic looking vehicle with the beautiful 18-inch wheels there. Oh, they don't need to change those wheels. They could keep those for a long time and I would be happy. Of course, we're F Sport trim. This is the atomic silver. We have a nice spoiler there on the trunk lid. And I think this car looks really good even without that spoiler. Taillights look great still. They're a little bit dated. They could use, and you know what this kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of the headlights of the LS 500, but it still looks really, really good. I'm just excited for maybe a more blacked out tail like you see in the new 2019 RC. Rear exhausts look great. They look exactly like the rear exhaust on the RC. And then we have a little mesh insert here on the rear bumper. Nothing special there, but overall the IS still looks great. And you know, again, it would be nice if they had the mesh, or sorry, not the mesh, the darkened chrome around the window there. But my hands are nearly numb and about ready to fall off and snap. This wind is brutal, so let's get on the inside. Underneath the hood, we have the same 3.5 liter V6 that we've had for a long time, pushing 311 horsepower. Engine presentation, a little simple, and that's fine. It looks good. Plenty of power for this car, even though I know a lot of you guys would like, you know, more gears in the all-wheel drive. This only has 6 gears, whereas the rear-wheel drive is going to have 8. And I know a lot of you guys are looking for that twin-turbo V6 from the LS 500. It would be nice to see it in this car. It would really, really revitalize it. But you know, sedans just aren't selling that well right now, so it's hard to say you know, what the future of the IS is going to be in terms of power plants. Word on the street is they're just going to refresh the car again for probably the 3rd or 4th time with this current generation of vehicle. Let's keep moving. Getting on the luxurious inside of the 2019 IS 350 F Sport. It's a beautiful car. First thing that's sticking out to me is this right here. This seems to be brand new on the 2019 IS F Sports, RC F Sports, and I think you can find it also in the UX F Sport. Is this kind of grainy black plastic that's kind of looks like wood. I actually like it quite a bit, to be honest. On the door here, kind of soft touch. it's leather. It's definitely leather. It's just kind of a harder leather here. Now the car is pretty cold. It's been sitting out here over our little Christmas break. We do have the Mark Levinson in here, but nothing really is changed a whole lot from the 2018. Let's go ahead and get this car fired up so you can get an idea. There we go. Okay, so we have the classic F Sport gauge here. If I press this button right there, it'll swivel the gauge around. Pretty unique to Lexus. Again, it was inspired by the LFA supercar that they made a few years back. Again, we have that wood grain, plastic wood grain here. I like it, looks good. And it makes the black interior look really sharp. Everything just kind of flows and looks really, really good. Sorry if the lighting isn't the greatest. It's still pretty dark here. We have a cloudy morning here in the Midwest. The seats are still exquisite. They're really, really nice. They look very similar. It might be the same exact seats, to be honest, as you see in the RC. And that's okay. I don't think there's any fault with that. Opening this up, we have USB as well as a 12 volt hidden away, and then you have auxiliary sport modes. This will have the AVS, adaptive variable suspension. We have heated seats. Now these are not auto heated seats or automated heated steering wheel like you see in the UX, the ES, things like that. So these knobs haven't changed. Everything is pretty much exactly the same. However, we have that wood grain plastic here. I think it looks great. I think it's definitely a step up, in my opinion, from the old materials. You see all the speakers up there. Yes, we do have the Mark Levinson. Up here is very standard. Now, it's not touch. Okay, in the RC it was touch. It's a little surprising that we don't have the touch that you see in the newer Lexus vehicles. Definitely it's touch in the UX as well. Of course, your sunroof controls are up there. I think that kind of sums up everything. Now, the steering wheel is great in Lexus fashion. Beautifully wrapped stitching leather around the steering wheel. Of course, it's F Sport. If you want to look down there, you get the aluminum pedals. And the seats in the F Sport are always going to have the extra bolstering, as you can see on the side. But nothing really new here except for maybe this little plastic grain. And so let's get into the back. Oh yes, this is still the old school steering wheel from Lexus. It's not the new steering wheel that you see on the UX, the ES, the LS, as well as the LC. We still have cruise control down here. It's not integrated into the steering wheel buttons, unfortunately. Into the back of the beautiful IS. Not a lot of leg room. Now I pushed the seat pretty far back. Looks to be about the same materials. Again, on the back of the seats, as you saw in my RC video. Huge hump here in the back. That's unfortunate. No connectivity, also very unfortunate. Same, vents that we've had in a long time with a little, pizzazz with the chrome, trim on it. Doors are very high quality in the back like they were in the front. And then the seats are also extremely high quality, matching the front seats. Comfort is excellent. There's a nice recline of the seat that's standard. We have some touch map lights up here. Push button map lights, not touch. Again, we have that same wood grain around the window switch, which will illuminate. Mark Levinson speaker here, and of course down below. But I think it's now time to look in the trunk. In the trunk, it's non-automated. We don't have any button up here that will open the trunk for you. Very nice Lexus cargo net here. Inside we'll have the all-weather mats, your standard mats as well. And what's best about the versatility of the IS is these rear seats will fold down here. I'm not going to show you guys. I think I've showed you in previous IS reviews, but it's the only Lexus sedan in which the seats fold down. I wish all of them fold down, but they do it, I guess, for rigidity in the ride and the structure. Of course, you have your Lexus med kit back here, which is standard in all Lexus vehicles. And I don't believe, yes, we do have one light, one little light, you know, just in case you need it. Okay, we're finally taking off in the 2019 IS350 F Sport review. This vehicle feels so similar to the RC that I just reviewed. They share a lot of parts. Obviously, they share transmission as well as engine. I'm sure they share some suspension parts. And the size of the vehicles are very, very similar. So if you watch my RC review, I'm sure a lot of the points I'm going to talk about. And I thought it was there was something in the road, and I thought it was one of those, you know, tube light bulbs, a halide, or what, you know, the long, I can't even think of what they're called. Long light bulbs. I'll put a picture, but it was actually a fallen light from our Christmas lights that are put onto our trees this time of year for decoration. Anyways, the ride is actually very quiet, very smooth. I forget how smooth the IS is, even though it is an extremely, well, it's not extremely, but for Lexus, it's more on the performance end of things. It's still very quiet, very comfortable, very smooth. It's not in the same league as the ES in terms of just overall smooth, like butter smooth, but it's pretty close. You know, I don't know if I would change anything about it. I like how the IS is innately more sporty, because, you know, that's what a lot of people, when they want luxury, they also want the two-sided coin. They want to be able to have the coin of comfort and quiet, very, very smooth, and they flip that coin on the other side and it's performance. I think the IS does a pretty good job of hitting that balance. The ES is definitely more luxury. Even though they've made it more sporty, it's still definitely more of a luxury, quiet, soothing, awesome ride. I would personally prefer the ES over the IS. It doesn't make this car any lesser of a vehicle. The new ES is just more my style of vehicle. I'm turning into an old man. I have 3 kids at this point. So back onto this car, the IS. Gear shifts are extremely smooth, and I'm just in normal mode here. I'm not going to push it too hard. The roads are cold, the tires are cold. This heated seat is doing a really good job of keeping me nice and warm. And like the RC, I don't know if I mentioned this in my RC review, they have the same blinkers that you press it down all the way for the blinker to stay on. And I'm just going to do a quick acceleration. I'll get onto the blinkers here in a little bit. That's speed limit. Gosh, that is a nice amount of power. You know, a lot of people harp on Lexus for not having enough power, but gosh, how much power do you guys really need? 311 horsepower in this little car, and that wasn't even full throttle. I was probably about 75%, and I hit the speed limit within a couple seconds. So I mean, not a couple seconds. It's not going to do 0 to 60 in a couple seconds, but it's faster than you need it to, unless you're racing it. So out here cruising at about 60 miles per hour, you do feel a little bit more road vibration than you do in let's say the ES, for example. But again, this is a much more sport-oriented vehicle. It is smaller as well, and that has something to do with, you know, how it handles the bumps and things like that. But back to the blinkers. Whenever I do a test drive in the IS, it takes people a long time to get used to the blinkers, because you press it all the way down and then it returns back to the normal physical resting place, even though the blinker's engaged. So in order to cancel that, you have to go the opposite direction, but like a half pull. I mean, obviously they can self-cancel once you finish the turn, but a lot of people in my test drives just drive around with the blinkers on because they don't know how to cancel it. I don't think it's that hard, but I think Lexus just needs to go back to the normal blinker and not have to make it different by, you know, the half blinker cancellations. But if you guys have any questions, it's really hard for me to explain. I could probably explain it better in a written comment down below. But let's get off the blinkers here. Now, in the IS, there is some sort of powertrain hump by my right leg. Doesn't really bother me while I'm driving, but to some people I could see it bothering them. It's like this bulge that's sticking out of the drive shaft, or maybe it's a part of the transmission. I'm not quite sure, but it's there. And if you have bigger legs, or if you sit differently than me, that could play a factor in the comfortability of the vehicle. Visibility for a sedan of this size is really good. I don't have any issues looking around. The rear view mirror is absolutely enormous. Let me show you that. You guys can see that. It's huge. The rear windshield, not that big, but I can still see just about everything I need to out of that rear windshield. Blind spot monitors work great. And these are the older mirrors. These are smaller than the mirrors in the current Lexus lineup. You have mirrors. Get this, what's crazy? So all the new Lexus vehicles, all the new platforms or the revisions, so the ES, the LC, LS, as well as the new UX, all have the same side mirrors, and they're a little bit bigger. They also have the same handles, door handles from the inside, not the outside obviously, but from the inside. So I am excited for the mirrors to get a little bit bigger on the IS here, because I'm used to seeing a little bit more detail and visibility there in the side mirrors. Quietness. Now, the road I'm on is a little bit smoother now. It's still a very quiet ride. It's not the most quiet Lexus. It's definitely a lot more quiet than the UX that I drove the other day. But the UX is still an amazing vehicle, even though it's not quite as quiet or as, you know, powerful as your normal Lexus. Heated steering wheel is excellent. And just to let you guys know, only these parts right here on the edge are heated. The top and the very bottom are not heated. So Lexus is kind of known for that. They don't really heat their steering wheels that well all the way around, just kind of in the 10 and 2 positions. We're going to get on the brakes here. Getting off the freeway. Yeah, like I have a really great view here. Visibility is awesome. I hope you can see that view. It's not particularly beautiful here in the Midwest, but when I get a chance, I do admire it. Brakes, perfect Lexus fashion. There's a little bit of tiny bit of you know, vibration in the pedal from the bumps in the road, but still, I'd still give it A. I wouldn't call them as good as the new ES brakes or the LS or the LC brakes. Those are just feel futuristic in terms of how smooth, progressive, and strong they are. These are still excellent, don't get me wrong. And this car might still be even able to stop faster than your normal ES, for example. We're going to get into a little handling portion. I'm going to twist it into Sport Plus mode with adaptive variable suspension. That makes this car's suspension stiffer in the corners, and I'm looking forward to it. I remember, well, not that the RC handles very similar to this IS, so I'm expecting this to, and it feels pretty much exactly the same in my opinion so far. And again, I don't push these cars that hard. I'm out here on public roads, and the roads are cold and they're wet, but no issues there handling that, accelerating through the turn. There's a little Mercedes GLA hanging out here at the park. Gosh, handling is just really good. I don't want to hit this jogger though. Good thing he's running on the left side of the road, as he should. Joggers, make sure you're not running with traffic. Run against the traffic. Man, it's dirty out here. Someone's been doing cookies in the paved, or I should say the non-paved parking lot. It looks, I don't know if you can see that muddy block of dirt out there. Oh man, the lake has dried up, or I should say thawed out a little bit. Dried up. How can a lake dry up unless it yeah. Anyways, I found the geese, guys, so that means all is well here at the lake. Let's go ahead and finish up this awesome review. Oh man, that runner. The runner is scaring off the geese. Gosh. Damn it. Overall, the IS350 is pretty much unchanged from last year and several years before that. Really, there are no major changes since I think 2017 is when they refreshed this vehicle. Word on the street is they're going to refresh it again next year. Same basic car. But let's get the geese. Let's get the geese in the background. But it's the same basic vehicle as we've seen for a few years now. And Lexus, do they need to change some things? Yeah, they need to just get up with the technology a little bit. No Apple CarPlay or Android Auto in this vehicle. It's still an amazing, comfortable, luxury, sporty ride, in my opinion. I would love for them to have the ISF back. Also, you know, maybe an IS400 where they put the twin turbo V6 from the LS in there. But let me know what you guys think of the IS. I mean, it's still pretty much the same vehicle. I'll see you in the comments below, and until next time. Okay guys, just an update on the geese. They're such goofy creatures. I call my daughter a goose all the time just because they're just, you know, such flighty, goofy. Look at them slide on the ice. Did you see that landing? How sick. But yeah, half of them are just standing on the ice. And then half of them are just, you know, waiting in the water. Hey, there's some mallards in there too, some mallard ducks. So, gosh, they're just so goofy.